Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the AdSkills Pro podcast. I am your host, Kate Buck Jr., and in this episode and every episode of the AdSkills Pro podcast, we share case studies from real life campaigns run by top media and ad buyers from the AdSkills Pro network. So today, I am joined by Joao, who's tuning in or coming in with us from Portugal, which is one of my favorite places on earth. Hello, Joao. How are you?
Hello, Kate. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. So Joao is an AdSkills certified junior media buyer with experience in e-commerce and lead generation. He's currently doing freelance media buying for a couple of agencies and working with some clients of his own. So we're going to get to hear about some of his brag-worthy campaigns here shortly. And of course, the best part is at the end of each show, you will have the chance to hire our pros. So stay tuned and listen for that opportunity at the end. So Joao, let's jump in. Tell me, I'm curious too, because I am always interested. I've spent a lot of time in Europe, right? So I'm always interested in the mindset of where people are at there in terms of internet marketing,
Sure.
Based as compared to how we are in the United States. So I think it'll be interesting to hear your story and what were you doing? How long have you been doing media buying? Like, what were you doing before, and what is it that sort of sparked your interest or your, sparked your passion or whatever, and decided to go this route in your career?
Okay, sure. So it all started in around 2015. I never dealt with internet marketing before, and I stumbled upon, I don't remember the details, but I remember the product that I found. I stumbled upon an Amazon FBA kind of launch where they were teaching about this specific business model to do like private labeling on Amazon. And that got me a little bit interested, so I decided to see the launch. I didn't end up buying the product, but I decided to try it on my own. And I basically created everything from scratch. I stumbled upon a lot of difficulties and stuff like that, but I was able just to put it out there. And when I started to sell on Amazon, I realized that I was missing a lot of stuff. Basically, I didn't know a clue about copywriting. I didn't know anything about how to create compelling images or even promoting my products. So I realized that probably I needed to do some study and to learn some things. And that's where I got inside the world of internet marketing. And basically, I got really into it. And I learned a lot, failed a lot. Tried different ventures, also got a lot of skills that allowed me to work as a consultant for other people that were doing successfully Amazon businesses. Also had the ability to work as a marketing assistant for an e-commerce startup as well. And basically that's it. What led me to media buying was the fact that while I was doing these projects, I had to learn to do Facebook ads and Google ads. And I learned most of it by myself, and I really enjoyed the things, the analytical part of it, and it resembles a little bit like investing. You need to understand some fundamentals. You need to look at technical details in order to optimize things and to make things work. But again, I was on a beginner level and just trying to work on my own. And after I ended up working with the e-commerce company, I started to think what I could do for myself. And I realized that I was like a jack of all trades, but master of none. And I decided to really sharpen my skills and focus on something that I enjoy. And I realized that one of the things that I felt that I had some skills on was basically doing ads. And it was just a strike of luck because I have been following Justin for a while on his email list and also on Facebook. And basically I was presented with a Jumpstart program, and for me it was a no-brainer. It was the right time to join it, and the rest is history.
So what were you doing before this, or what did you think you were gonna be when you grew up? Was it a media buyer? Were you always interested in business and marketing, or was there something else that you were passionate about before this?
Well, I always had some business. I always look at businesses, and I wanted to do something related to business. I didn't know what I wanted to do in the first place. That's why probably I tried a lot of different things just to find my perfect match. Basically, that's what I wanted to do. I have a management degree, tourism management degree. Unfortunately, on Portugal, how can I say, the people with degrees are not that valued in terms of professional skills and also in terms of revenue. So I decided that I wanted to do my own luck and to try to do things on my own in a perspective where I could win by performance and by putting my own work into it. So.
I love that. So you just mentioned that it was the right time and you jumped into the Jumpstart.
Yeah.
How did that change or help or affect your performance as a media buyer?
It changes a lot because before I didn't consider myself, again, I consider myself like a junior media buyer. I got the certification from AdSkills and everything like that. But before I was just buying ads like everyone else. I didn't have the proper foundation steps. And when I joined the Jumpstart program, what I realized is that I was missing a lot of important things. I was focusing too much on the strategies and on the CBO, ABO, that kind of jazz that in the end it matters, but doesn't matter that much in the whole realm of things. And I just realized that I needed to get that foundation, like how to really look at the market, how to find the target market, and how to do the tracking, how to understand getting from A to Z and not just doing the easy part, that is creating a campaign and just putting it out there. I was missing all the foundational parts that are super important, and now I realize that are fundamental to be successful on this line of work.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think the fundamentals are super, super important. You're right. Anybody can read a blog article or knows they need an image and they need some words to throw on a page and a link or something like that, right? But understanding how you arrive at the correct or the best ones to use is a process that you learn over time with those fundamentals. So how are you applying this knowledge that you're using? What types of businesses are you working with? And I'd like to hear about any campaigns. I'd love to hear like the before and after kind of applying these fundamentals, like when I started working on this campaign, how was it going? And then when you applied some of these fundamentals, what shifted or changed and the results of those? We want to hear your successes.
Sure. Thank you for that. Basically, talking about the campaigns, sorry, just to recap, one of the things that you asked me was about the campaigns. What was the first one, just to make sure that I answer everything?
What types of campaigns do you work on, or do you what types of businesses? And so tell us a little bit about that, and then jump into the actual campaign.
So before I went to AdSkills and started with the Jumpstart program, I was mostly doing like e-commerce and lead gen. I was working, as mentioned, for a couple of businesses, nothing on a large scale, because I was just an employee and they just wanted to try something on that way. But I was mostly focusing on e-commerce and lead gen. Now, working as a junior media buyer for other agencies, I'm kind of open to different business models, because for me, it's important to be able also to understand where I feel more comfortable on, because I only tried e-commerce and lead gen, and probably there are a lot of different business models that I can feel comfortable with. And it's also part of the learning process, because even though AdSkills has a great training program and I really enjoyed it, a lot of the stuff that you really learn, it's by working on the field and by working on a day-to-day basis. And that's where you start to understand some things, you start to understand the markets, and you start to understand what are your strengths and your weaknesses and where you need to work on. And so at the moment, I'm working a little bit on a lot of different verticals. But as an example, I recently got a client of my own. It's an e-commerce business, and I feel comfortable working on those. So, but mostly what I'm focusing on is to get the more information I can and to learn from people that have way more experience and can give me that kind of training as well to become a better professional.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so you're open to a variety. You have some specialization in lead gen and e-commerce because
Yeah.
that's been in your history, but now you're opening up to doing more other types of working with other types of clients as well.
Yeah.
So I got that. So tell us about some of the campaigns now that you have done that have been super successful or brag worthy. We want to hear how talented you are.
Sure. Thank you. Most of the campaigns that I've been working with, of course, I can disclose details because those campaigns that are really brag worthy are part of agencies, and I really respect their work and the privacy of this line of work. But I can share you a small example of an e-commerce company that is owned by a couple of friends of mine. And basically they were trying to do some Facebook ads before. They were getting some sales, but they never got sorry, they never got like a very good ROAS and a good return on their investment. So I realized that they were having some kind of issues finding the target market. And what I did, I just did a study. I started to look into the market, what tickles the market, what makes the market move, the kind of language, the kind of communication, what the market says. And I realized that there were a lot of ideas that could be used for that campaign. And even on a content distribution level, things started to show results. And basically, what I realized and what I've been doing more for these kind of campaigns, also, of course, it's on a small scale, but I've been finding that a lot of businesses and small businesses just have like gaps in their funnel. And it's just a matter of finding those gaps and trying to fix those gaps and to close the gap, basically, to make sure that the customer journey and everything is up to par and as expected, basically.
Tell me about the gaps that you're talking about. What type of gaps do you see in the funnel and are you filling? Can you give me some examples?
Sure. As an example, I started to do some content distribution. They weren't doing content distribution before. They were basically creating a cold audience had like, I got this, buy this now. And it wasn't working, of course, because there was a lot missing because they were just starting on the consideration level. They forgot completely about the awareness level. And they weren't even doing retargeting, like simple things that for us, it's like second nature. But I realized that a lot of people don't do this and they just try to focus on doing one ad and having a result. And sometimes just by closing these gaps and looking at the specifics, you can change overall. I can give you an example. They basically, to be profitable, they needed like a 2.1 ROAS before. Just by adding the retargeting by itself, they were able to get to those levels. And having a good content distribution, basically they have a running funnel. Of course, they are working on a small scale and there is not enough statistical significance to make assumptions. But I can say that it has been operating for more than 3 weeks and they have been getting above 3x on ROAS. So things are working for them and they can start to scale on a smaller level, of course. Mm-hmm. But just by closing those gaps, things started to work. And they thought that they have a product problem or something like that. But I realized that it was really a funnel problem and it got fixed.
How important is it so I think I hear what you're saying is that it is important. So how important is it? I have a client right now that I'm struggling to communicate how important it is to not go straight to that consideration phase and to really, even in pre-launch, right? Where if you're in beta before maybe your software or your product actually launches, I mean, that is the time where you should be focused really, really on awareness instead of going straight to consideration. You're saying that that's a really big deal, that's a part of the
Yeah.
funnel that you shouldn't be neglect, that it really should be, awareness should be adequately addressed, even though a lot of business owners feel like awareness is just it's just a waste of money because they don't see the immediate return.
Not at all. You need to think on a customer perspective, because let's imagine, and giving a quick example, there are people that aren't even aware of the problem that they might be having. A lot of people aren't aware that they have like health issues, and probably they start to realize when they read an article saying a lot of people are getting weight because of X. Probably they are thinking, I think I got that X. Probably do I have a problem? So they start thinking about this, and you need to understand that there are people, of course, that they are solution aware and they are aware of your specific solution and they are ready to buy. But you need to cater to all of these kind of people that are problem aware, they are problem aware, but they don't know a solution yet. So you need to be of service and actually give before asking. And that's how I think that advertising will evolve, because the attention span is getting lower and lower, and people need to really resonate with the brand and with the marketing that a brand does. So I believe that it will make companies stand out when they behave like this.
In customer mindset, I have one more question for you, just personal curiosity. In a customer mindset of the European market versus maybe the American market, or do you work in any other regional markets? I have a client right now that has historically attempted to break into, and it is a marketing info product training, right? Yeah. It is a online marketing training about online marketing, right? They've been historically trying to break into the European market, but have only recently, really just within the last 3 or 4 months, maybe even just this year in 2020, been able to actually have any success with running ads in the European market. So has historically been a US only product. So that's really the kind of where I'm coming from, is in terms of in terms of this thinking. And also just when I spent time in Europe, being in the co-working spaces as an entrepreneur, just meeting people, it was, this was 2 or 3 years ago, it was still a pretty fresh, everyone still had a very youthful understanding. I thought it was so great because I felt like I was coming from the future with concepts and ideas to share with people that I was meeting, which was fun. So anyways, I'm just curious, do you think it been like for American media buyers that they have a hard time writing or understanding or writing for European buyers, but you can probably write a bit both ways? I don't know. It's kind of an open-ended question about if you want to compare the markets.
So you were right, and I found it funny when you said that you felt like you came from the future, because I've been discussing with a lot of people that work on the internet marketing world in Portugal, and basically other media buyers and people that work with info products and such, and coaches, and some of them actually consume products from United States and Canada, and they see a huge gap, and there is really a huge gap. Sometimes we say that I can say that there is a gap, like 3 or 4 years gap in terms of information. What was talked about internet marketing like 4 years ago on the US market is started to get now in Portugal. So in Portugal, at least is my experience. I don't know what about other countries like UK or something like that. I believe that they will be more evolved in terms of internet marketing and where they are at the moment. But I'm just comparing with Portugal. It's funny to see, because a lot of people, if you talk with anyone on internet marketing on the United States, most of them know what a media buyer is. If you talk to someone in Portugal that is running ads or something like that, and you speak just the word media buyer, they always ask, "What is a media buyer?" So it's just there's some kind of gap. Of course, it's getting closer, because the internet is giving the possibility to people to get updated, and a lot of people are starting to, more people my age, they know English, and they can learn from other types of contents that come from United States and Canada and such. But yeah, there is a huge gap, and I think it's completely different the way you speak to a customer on the United States and the way you should speak to a customer in Portugal. Probably you need to, probably in Portugal you could use like a cold audience, like a kind of ad with great copywriting and attract the right people. But again, it could or it couldn't work. And as a friend of mine says, in advertising, there are two only expressions that are the absolute truth. One of them is "it depends," and the other one is "let's test it," because you never know.
It depends is the answer for everything. It depends. I totally get that. So thank you. This has been an awesome and very informative session. I enjoyed myself, and I'm sure that our listeners or viewers have as well. If anyone wants to reach out and work with you directly or chat more, maybe they're trying to break into the Portuguese market, that would be really great, or just hear more about e-commerce and lead gen, how can they get in touch with you, João?
So one of the best ways to contact me and to connect with me is by Facebook. My slug is facebook.com/nofilterjohn. Funny name because most people don't know how to say my name, so I decided to create a slug that would be easier for people overseas. Also, people can connect with me by email at main@nofiltermarketing.com. Basically, these are the best ways to connect with me.
Is that name at nofiltermarketing.com?
Sorry, Main, like Main.
Main.
M-A-I-N,
like Main Street.
Yeah,
Yep, got
Main,
it. Okay. Yeah. Main@nofiltermarketing.com, or on Facebook as nofilterjohn. I almost said no. I spent 4 months. This is how I know. I had to. It took me 4 months to get it. Anyways, all right. Well, if you are watching this on YouTube, those links and information will be down below in the description. And of course, if you're listening on iTunes or any of the podcast networks, you can check out the show notes. João, thanks again. I promise next time I'm in Portugal, I will swing by and say hello. We will grab a beer somewhere, a Super Bock.
Yeah, the best one.
Yes, and thank you all for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the AdSkills Pro podcast. Leave us a review. Tell us all the good things that you've learned, and we'll see you on the next episode.
If you'd like to learn more about how to use paid traffic and analytics to scale your business, subscribe to the AdSkills channel so you'll be notified every time new content is released. If you'd like to learn more about the topic we just discussed, check out the related video we're posting right now.